So thank you everybody for showing up. Little quick outline of what the session is going to be like. So Pablo and I are just going to introduce ourselves for about 3 to 5 minutes. We'll go over 3 minutes on essentially what we're going to be going over. We'll spend about 20-25 minutes on the strategy itself, or just the introduction to it. And then 10 minutes will be like how we kind of make our watch list and the strikes that we choose. After that, we'll jump into the Q&A. Pretty much ask us whatever you guys want based on what we went over, or just any real questions, honestly. And we'll do our best to answer them. So with that being said, thank you guys again. Congratulate yourselves for making it out here, making a step to better yourself in your trading journey. I always make it a rule to tell myself is to always be learning, because if you think you know it all, I believe that's kind of like the first step towards like failing, in my opinion, because there's always new things to learn. But yeah, with that being said, my name's Desi, or I go by Advin as well on the Discord. I mainly trade options. I started trading Forex recently, actually. The strat that I use and that Pablo uses, it pretty much works with anything, honestly. I've been using it wonderfully with crypto, options, even regular equity. Started trading Forex sometimes a little bit at nighttime, works perfectly as well. And yeah, been trading for about 2 years now. This strategy that I have now, been doing it for the last month and a half, kind of just dumbed down the old strategy that I had, and this works much better for me. And yeah, that's all for now. Keep it short. Give it to you, Pablo.
Yeah, so my name's Pablo, go by Wing Torito, or whatever I decide to change my name to next week. Mainly trade options, only trade options. I used to trade penny stocks, did that for a while, then they died off. Went back to the options game, traded that. That's about it. This new strat that Desi brought up to me is pretty good. It can be a little confusing at first, to be quite honest with you. But once you get it down, it's extremely simple and super easy to follow. And the best part about it is that it gives you plays on all time frames, right? If you're a swing trader, day trader, scalping, whatever it is, this strategy will work for you. Me, I still use my old one, so I kind of made a mash of both of them. But yeah, we'll go over the strategies. Very effective, very easy to follow. And I'm always available on the chat as always. Any questions, concerns, comments, I'm always around.
Perfect. So real quick, we're just kind of go over just the intro, like the basics, like what the candles mean, kind of like the numbers, the way the strategy is built out. And then some examples of them. I'm gonna share my screen over in a bit. And then we'll go over the way we make our watch list. We both do it a little differently, so we'll do the best that we can to kind of just make it simple for everybody, since we still use the same strategy, but just in a different ways that works for us. If you guys are following, give me a yes in the chat. Perfect. All right, I'm gonna share my screen here real quick. Let's do this.
Gave us the stone cold what?
Let me know if you guys can see my screen.
I mean, we can see them colors are kind of ugly.
Wow. All right, so let me move this out the way. All right, perfect. So real quickly, let me just bring that down. So I'm gonna start with essentially just the beginning to it. So the strategy is called the strat. It was created by this man called Rob Smith. I kind of came into it about a month and a half, maybe 2 months ago. And once I started looking more into it, it really fit my personal style a little more. I literally just use the candles. I still use support and resistance, or if you're a supply and demand trader, you can do that as well. I don't really bother using like support and resistance lines really, because I kind of just see them already. Kind of been just doing this for a while now. And it's just easier for me. I never really liked a bunch of like lines all over my charts or indicators. It works a lot better for me personally, because even with my old system, I would have like indicators that would counteract each other. Like some will be saying go long, some will be saying go short. And using this is just really, really streamlined for me. So to start it off, the strat pretty much consists of a few things, but I'm only going to go over, just to keep it simple for this session, going to go over the candles, what the numbers mean. As you can see here, like there's like 1, 2s, and 3s. And I'll touch broadening formations a little bit as well. But really quickly, so to go through the candles, so as I just mentioned, the candles are labeled 1, 2, and 3. So a 1 candle is essentially a inside bar or a consolidation candle that I like to keep it as. A number 2 is a directional candle. So that's kind of telling you kind of where the ticker wants to head after a specific move that it's already done. And then a number 3 is an outside bar, or a candle that takes like that overtakes the previous one from the top and the bottom. So just to give you a quick example, I'm on the 1 hour chart right now. Let me see if I can do maybe a little better. So there's a strat ebook that'll kind of break it down further. I won't really go into too much detail, like with the 2 up or the 2 down. Trying to just keep it streamlined as of now. So, like I said, a 1 candle is an inside bar within the previous one. So let's just take these two. Actually, no, these two right here. So that's the top, and then we have the bottom, and then the inside bar is inside of the previous candle. And a 2 candle would be, like I said, a directional candle. And the reason why this would be, let me delete this actually. So a 2 candle would be a 2 because it kind of only took out one direction of the previous candle. So this would be, just to keep it simple, a 2 down. So it took down one direction. So it's kind of giving us a direction that the ticker still wants to head down. Now, a 3 candle, like I said, it takes out the bottom and the top of the previous candle. As you can see with this 3 here, it took out the bottom of this 2 candle on the bottom and on the top. And then with the number system or the candle formations, you kind of just mix and match different candle patterns based on the numbers and things like that, to kind of give you a pattern with either reversals or continuations, things like that. I myself kind of stick to reversals, but I'll jump into that in a bit. Pablo, if you want to kind of give your descriptions of the candles, because I like the way that he breaks it down as
Yeah,
well.
so obviously hearing numbers and candles makes it really confusing, right? So we got to keep in mind that candles tell stories, right? So candles either tell us that the stock is strong and we're moving up, the stock is weak, we're moving down. Buyers and sellers don't know what the hell to do, so we're moving sideways. Keeping that in mind, this is basically how the candles go, right? So your number 1 candles, the way I treat them is they're trend reset candles, right? So usually you'll see ones come after drops. usually, right? So, or after pumps. What happens with one candles are the buyers and the sellers kind of take a pause and they say, okay, what's next? Let's see what's next, right? So the number one candles, the way I look at them is they reset the trend, or they pause it for the next move, right? So when you see a one, like on the screen right now, we can see we had a two, and then a one, right? So the one is kind of them chilling, like, okay, what's next? We're gonna keep dropping or we're going up, right? Obviously, these people decided to drop, so we got another two down, right? So the trend paused itself momentarily and they brought it down. So that's our number one candles. Our number two candles are directional candles, like Desi mentioned, right? So two candles either go up or they go down. Um, so that's just giving us an indication if the stock is in a strong uptrend or in a strong downtrend. So whenever you see twos, whenever you see twos and twos continuing, so two continuations, usually means that's the trend, right? So you don't want to bet against that. You want to ride the trend with the candles. So twos are going to be our direction where we're going. Another thing to notice is these twos can also appear weak or strong, right? So for example, we can see that 212 in the middle, right? That two is kind of a doji, so it's weak, right? So there we might consider, okay, let's see what's gonna happen. Versus that other two is a hammer, that's a strong candle, right? So we got a two that's a hammer that shows that the sellers try to drag down the price. They couldn't, they wicked it down, but the buyers were able to push it up. So you want to keep in mind also how these candles look, right? So are they strong twos, right? Are they just giant green going up or down or red going down? Or are they showing some kind of weakness? And then your three candles, these I'm still kind of experimenting with, but what threes do is they open up the range, right? So a perfect example of that is going to be today. For the last 2 days on the SPY, we've been playing in the between 380 to 384. So 374, there's a range that we were playing. What happens is the threes will come and they'll break open the range, right? And that's going to give us a wider play area. So whenever you see a three candle, that's giving us a range breakout. So perfect example, you see on the daily, we had a two and we had a two. These twos were kind of sideways to each other. And then we got a three, right? What the three did was it opened up the playing range and now it's giving us a bigger space to play in. And as you can see today, we went from that range expansion that we got hit with yesterday, we played it today immensely, right? We had a pretty wide space to play today. So that's where your threes are going to be. They're going to be range expansions. So whenever you see a three, it's usually going to be followed by some kind of explosive movement up or down. It's just giving us a bigger play space. So again, to kind of review, one candles are going to be your trend reset candles. These are going to be inside bars, right? So basically, they're going to be sandwiched between other bars. They're not going to take out the top or the lows. That's going to be people pausing the trend and saying, all right, what are we going to do next? Your two candles are going to be your directional candles. So that's going to tell us if we're going up or down. And your three candles are going to be your range expansion candles. So whenever you see a three, just know that the stock is now the play range has been open. So this is going to allow more volatility, which is good for us because we want more movement to make more money. Yeah. If anyone has any questions, you can put it on the chat.
Yeah. Well, if you're following us, making sense, give us a yes in the chat.
Everyone's looking at like, what the fuck, bro? I look like a minesweeper right now.
Perfect. So continuing on, as I was mentioning, with the candles and the specific patterns that they may give out. You know, as everybody knows, a green hammer candle is bullish. So what you kind of want to do is put a specific set of candles together to kind of make a trade out of it. So to give you a quick little example of a trade that I myself would take. And remember, based on the strat, you can use a lot of this with any time frame. So the way the strat teaches us to use this, you go from higher time frames to lower time frames. So let's say, for example, in this 3-bar range on the 4-hour, let me just do this so I can kind of keep it, make a little more sense when I zoom it in. So these 3 candles right here on the 4-hour, this will be a 222, or not even, I'll even say like a 2-2 bullish reversal. So the way I would play this for a long position, so the way you would play something like this, your trigger would be the top break of this candle, and then your targets would be the top of the previous candles. So you can either do the body and then the wick. I usually do the body and then the wick, and then you could just keep going up until you pretty much just get another reversal, or you just get the profit that you were looking for. So in this case, you would enter right here. Let's just say the first target would be there. And your stop. So the thing I like about the strat is that your stops are really tight. They're not like super wide. So if you're entering on the break of the center 2, your stop would be at the candle that you enter, which will be this one right at the bottom. So here we have, well, this is the SPX, but good enough. So let's just say, for me, I would do the body first, and then my stop would be right at the wick or right under it. You can give yourself some room if you want to. You could even do the body, but if you're sticking to the strat, the way it kind of teaches you, it will be the bottom of the candle. So as you can see here, we have a 5.87 risk reward ratio, which is amazing. You always want to go for at least for me, I go for 2.5 or higher, because it doesn't make sense to risk $10 to make $10, or whatever it may be, 10% for 10%. So this could be your first target right here. Let's even say up here. And then you can have first target, then let's say the wick, and then you just go back. And as you can see, when this 2-2 bullish reversal played out, we just kept on pumping through, and it hit all these targets. It did reject off here, but on the SPX, that would have been a fantastic move. Even on the SPY too, either one. Let me get rid of this real quick. And also something that I forgot to mention is, I'll probably go into this more in the next session, but really quickly, the strat teaches time frame continuity, which kind of gives you the time frames and if they're bearish or bullish. So as we can see here, all the time frames on the SPX, on the larger time frames, are bullish. So I wouldn't be opening up any shorts until I get a clear actionable signal, which is either a reversal on either direction. So here we got a bullish reversal to the upside, and there is yet to be any indication that we're reversing. This is just a big rejection that we got ELD, but I wouldn't open up any shorts just yet, personally. Another thing that I was going to mention is, with the strat, it kind of teaches broadening formations, which again, I will speak more on other sessions. But a broadening formation is essentially, if you might have heard of it as a, expanding megaphone pattern. So in this case for the SPY, I think I drew this on the 4-hour. Yeah, I think this is like actually no, daily broadening formation. So usually, or the point of a broadening formation is kind of giving you a range of where the stock or the ticker might be heading. So as you can see here, the SPY rejected this level and then came back down, and you would assume that it might be heading back down, but you kind of just want to stick to what you're seeing based on the candles, and also just play what you see. Like just because we get a reversal signal appear off the rejection off the broadening formation doesn't mean that you should wait all the way down here to take profit.
So
Did
Evan,
yeah.
pull up the ES minis, pull up the 65-minute chart so I can show some.
Ooh. Oh, let me get all these lines.
So besides our puts chilling lovely right now.
65.
Yes, sir. Let me see what it looks like. Perfect. Yeah. Expand that up. All right. So going back to like the basics of the candles, right? So if you look, we have we had a 2 candle down, right? So that's giving us a directional candle to the downside. Then we had a 1 candle that pauses the trend, right? So you see this little 1, it pauses the trend. We're trying to figure out what's next. If you see immediately followed by the 1, we get a 3 candle. So what's the 3 candle down? It's expanding the range, right? So we're going for a big move. We start seeing what direction it happens. And in this case, the direction was down. So the way you can play that is you can take the breakdown of the wick of the number 3, right? You can take the breakdown there and write it down, or you can take me personally the way I would play it, which is going to differ very wildly from what Desi would play. I would have took the rejection of the 1 candle's body off the bottom. So basically, when that 2 candle went up and tried to get above and then failed and started withdrawing back down, I would have took puts as soon as the bottom of the 1 broke down. So you could either took the body or the wick. It depends on if you want a safer entry. But in that case, right, once we broke down, we already know that the 3 has expanded the range, right? So we know that we're prepping for a move somewhere, and that move appeared to be a directional move down. So you could have took that move there. And if you notice now, the 2 that just played out bounced off of the wick from the FOMC man.
Yeah, so for this, if I were to play this 2-1-3 reversal to the downside, I would enter right there on the break of that candle.
Huh?
Then my first target will be down here. Then my next targets will be there and the bottom of this one.
Yeah, so the strat uses basically the strat uses candle patterns, right? They call them, they label them differently, whatever, but realistically they use candle patterns. So morning stars, evening stars, hammer candles, inverted hammers, hangymans. Basically, these are going to be things you want to look for to play these setups. To people who took the mentorship, that was all of lesson 4, right? So we talked about candle patterns and how they reverse. So basically, the strat is very it plays very well with that specific lesson. And for those who didn't take the mentorship, I'll find some examples of these reversal plays and I'll post them on the education channel. I'll probably do that this weekend. But yeah, so basically that's like you can see it live moving now, right? So the 1 candle resets the trend, the 3 candle expands the range, so it prepares for a big move, and then we get a directional 2 down. Back to you.
Thank you, sir. So yeah, really quick, even on the 65-minute, this would have been a trade that I would have taken on the 2-1-3. You enter on the break of this candle of the 1, and then you ride it all the way down to the first target. Now, as you can see, our stop is above this candle, which this wick out might have scared you, but we're still in the trade. And then we just take it all the way down. Nice little, what is that on the ES? $10 move. Not bad. I'll take it. And what you want to see, broadening formation wise, you want to kind of look for reversal signals near the top of here. The SPY, it was kind of choppy, so it wouldn't have given you really that much of a clear signal. But you could have kind of gotten the big wick rejection, and then I myself wouldn't have taken this trade personally. I would have to see it maybe on a different timeline. Like, yeah, like this one on the daily, I would have taken it off the daily. So we got a 2-2, rejects the top of the broadening formation, and you enter right here. Your stop would be kind of wide. Personally, I like to see the wicks on the center candle. So I would probably want small on this one, but to give you an even better example, for Moderna, this one I love. So on the daily on Moderna, I had this drawn about 2 weeks ago, maybe a little longer. So as you can see, we have the buttoning formation on the top and on the bottom. We have a clear reversal signal right here on the daily, right off the top of the line. You would have taken that entry right here. Let's see. Your stop will be at the top of the candle. A little sloppy, but bear with me. And then your first target would have been the bottom of the candle, the previous candle. And then you literally would have stayed in. So you just would have stayed inside until you get another reversal signal. Now this one is a easy. It's like a really easy example because as you can see, it went all the way from the top, and within a week, it hit the bottom of the formation, which is a 30 move for you. So if you were swinging this, whether it be monthly or whatever, you literally would have held it for those 3 days because you never got you never would have gotten a reversal signal to get you out of the trade. You would have stayed in the whole time and you would have ridden it down to the bottom. Now, another thing that helped me, or that the strat helps me in, is staying in trades longer. So like I said earlier, you want to look at the bigger time frames because you don't want to get stopped out. So if you're playing the daily, you're going to be playing, this entry to this target here. But if you're like on the 30-minute, let me see if I could show this actually. Let's say these 3 candles. So let's say we go on the 30-minute intraday. It's got to go back quite a bit. So if you're on the 30-minute, I think this might have been the day before the big drop. So if you're on the 30-minute, even here, you kind of would have stayed in the trade the whole time. But for some people playing the smaller time frames, like the 5-minute or the 3-minute, whatever it may be, I guess if you're a scalper, that kind of works, but I kind of just stick to the higher ones. So let's say you're on the 15-minute, you might see like kind of these 3 candles that might scare you off. You get a lot more noise, to keep it simple. So looking at the higher time frames, it kind of just keeps it would keep you in the trade. Oh, let's reset this. It would keep you in the trade without all the noise. So even just playing the 4-hour, simple enough. You just get in on the one right here, you keep on writing it down, and there's not all these like crazy candles going up, down, chopping you up. You kind of just play based off the higher time frame, which, like I mentioned, you should stick to whatever you're playing at. So yeah, the Moderna Weekly. Yeah, oh, the Moderna Weekly. Yeah, I'll bring that up. Let me see. So what I like to kind of teach and put out there is you always want to look at the bigger time frames, and then you can go on the smaller time frames to get a better entry. For me personally, I never go below the 15. That's just me. I usually get entries on the 1 hour, 30-minute, 15 or 65-minute. The dailies I'll probably, unless like it's like a clear cut signal, like the Moderna one, like this one, I wouldn't really play it any other way. Now the weekly, let me look at this. I think me and Pablo were looking at this. I think You remember what day it was? January.
With the
For
rejection
Moderna?
wasn't it recent?
The recent one? Nah, it was the daily one. It was this one that I just showed off.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so like this
Oh no,
one.
the Zom. My bad. It's Zom. The Zom weekly.
Mm, let me bring that one up actually. So for oil, I kind of let this one. So on the weekly time frame, as you can see here, we have a beautiful reversal signal or actionable signal. On the weekly, you would have just entered on the break of the previous week, and you honestly will still be in your shorts because there's nothing saying that it's going back up anytime soon. The time frame continuity is still bearish. So realistically, it looks like we might be heading to 79.47, depending how this week closes out. And they got earnings coming up, so on the end of the month. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, always look at the bigger time frames and work your way down from there. That's what I would recommend. It's been working fantastic for me. You would stay in trades a lot longer. You're not going to get chopped up or like scared by all these, like all the sideways movement or whatever it may be. Like if you were basing off the 5 minute, you would have probably stopped out of your short if you were looking at all these candles going up and up. But on the 4 hour, we printed a 1. Yeah, so we'll kind of see what tomorrow holds. Let me see. Yeah, nothing else is really sticking out to me. But the Moderna, that's a perfect trade for short. The ZOM weekly, to me, honestly, was perfect. Whoever caught that is a happy man. That was about what? Or a woman? 98 to... It's not bad. It's a beautiful move. And as you can see here, this indicator, this is the like a strat assistant. It kind of gives you the candles, the numbers, and it'll print out what pattern it may be holding. So this one, there'll be some more downside, probably hit this wick down here, depending what tomorrow brings based on this pattern. And the strat ebook, for those that don't have it, I will actually, let me post this now. For those that are here that aren't part of the Discord, and for those that are going to be looking at it on YouTube, I'll post the Discord link there. I'm gonna post this on the chat on the Zoom link. Give me 1 second. So whoever isn't in the Discord, that's the Discord link right there. If you go to our education center section, I have it in the ebook section. So the strat ebook, it'll literally tell you all these patterns and some of the flashcards that I posted as well. It kind of goes more into detail about all of this. Yeah, that's kind of just it for now based on the strategy. Anything else you want to share, Pablo? If not, we can head to the watch list building.
No, I'm good, man. I think you did a good job and covered all the bases for the intro. I think for the next lesson, grinding formations, TTO, and all that. These are things I still need to practice. So for the next lesson, we can dive deeper to that.
Sounds good. So just to start off with our watch list building. So the way I do it, like for those in the Discord, you'll see me like put calls above or puts below, whatever it may be. So the way I do it, oh, real quick, actually, when I'm trading intraday, I turn off extended hours. I only use regular trading hours. It works better for me. But when I'm making my watch list, super simple, super straightforward. I turn on my extended hours. I take the 4 hour candle off of the main trading session. And like I said, really, really simple. I just take the bottom, take the top, and then, whoops, and just mark them. Calls above this line. And then puts below. And that's basically it. So then depending on tomorrow, how we're looking, I'll be looking to get into puts under this line and then take it. The first, like, I guess, major target would be the previous day's bottom, which in this case would be right there. That's a 5-point move. And then calls above, in this case, I will go back and kind of see where the other candles were. So I'll probably have something like this and something like, whoops, and something like that for my targets for calls. Now, keep in mind, when I play it like this, I'm usually playing the lower time frames. So just to give you a quick example on how I would play this, let me actually delete this. Let me go back to another day. Let's say this one right here. And this is a great practice to have as well, just, to get you in the flow of the day. I usually do this the previous night just to free up some more time for me in the morning. But you could do this pre-market, whatever works best for you to get into the flow of things. So in this case, I think we had kind of a choppy day, honestly. Let's go here. I would probably do something like this. And then I will kind of go, I usually go the 15 or 30 minute to see what's going on. Let me actually get that day one more time. That was, say, June 30th. June 30th was kind of like a choppy day, really. So you would have kind of just played this range. And even though I have calls above or puts below, I'm still going to be trading any pattern or any reversal trades that I would personally take. So in this case, I kind of just keep these here for like bigger moves up or down. But let's say, as an example, on the 30th, even though we had the puts below, it kind of triggered already. Let me see, actually, on the lower time frame. Yeah, it kind of gapped down from the previous day. And I wait the first 15 minutes, so I wouldn't have taken any trade here for puts below, personally, because first 15 minutes, and they already kind of flushed it. But like I said, always look at the higher time frames. I would have definitely taken this trade at about 10:30. So here we have a 2-2 bullish reversal to the upside. So entry right here on this 2, targets, target, and then you go previous candles, targets, and keep on going all the way up. And then as you can see here on the calls above section, they rejected it. Another reversal trade that I would have taken. Entry right here, stop right above this wick, hit the first target, didn't hit the second one, so I would have already been in profit. It would have stopped me out on this candle here based on this entry from here. But, you could have entered back in if you wanted to on these two right here. I wouldn't, but you could have done that just to get back to the bottom of the range. But yeah, that's how that's kind of how I base off my watch list. I usually use only the 4 hour chart when I'm doing this with the extended hours on. I do, just like as a random thought, I am going to be kind of comparing it with just the regular trading hours and seeing how that plays out compared to the extended. Yeah, I'll let Pablo take it from here in the way we choose strikes and some little tips if you use Weeble.
Yeah, so for me, I use Webull as my broker for now. So what I'm looking at, I'm doing something similar to what Desi does in the morning, right? So I'm starting at the 4 hour, doing my calls above, puts below, and then I'm narrowing down that range with the smaller time frames, right? Usually I pick my strikes around 8:30 in the morning. What I'm looking for is I'm trying to pick a strike that is kind of a resistance, right? So I want it to be a resistance level because I know that's probably where we're going to reject. So I'm looking for obviously a strike that makes sense. I'm looking for something that's not too expensive, and I'm looking for good deltas. So if you don't know the Greeks, there's YouTube videos on it. I recommend you guys study it because that's how the contracts move. Basically, what I'm looking for, I want to see deltas of at least 30 to 40, which means for every dollar move that whatever I'm playing does, my contracts go up 40, 30 bucks, right? So for example, today on my calls, I was looking at the 385 call and I was looking at the 387 call. That was what I picked this morning. If you look at the SPY this morning, I believe we were trading at 381 at open. Yeah, around 381, 382, right? So I picked 385 watching, so I knew that we were definitely at that and we moved up. And I was watching 387 just in case that 385.
You sound a little far. Say that again.
My bad. Hold on. Let me fix the laptop. Yeah, I was saying, so I picked the 385s because I knew that was a resistance point, right? So I knew if we did pump, we were going to reject there. And I was watching the 387s for calls just in case the 385s are a little too pricey, right? So I picked those strikes based on resistance. Then for supports, what I did was I picked the 380 support, right? So I picked 380 puts and 378s, same thing, right? So 380 I know is a level that's potentially going to hold. And I know that 378, the reason I picked the 378 was just in case the 380s were too expensive. So that's kind of how I pick my strikes. So I'm picking my strikes based on resistance levels. Usually when the VIX is not so elevated, right? So when it's at 20, 18, all contracts are pretty cheap. So when it comes to that, what I'm doing is I'm picking a strike that's below where I think it's going. So if I think the SPY is going to 385, I would pick a 383 strike. And the reason I do that is once options go into money, their deltas get really strong, right? So instead of only making 40, 50 per contract, it could potentially go 100, 150 per contract. So usually in a normal market, that's what I'm doing, but we obviously have an elevated level of fear, which pumps contract prices because everyone's scared. So that's what I'm doing. So I pick my strikes based on resistance and support plays. And one thing I do, this is kind of for day traders. So what I do is I make a watch list. Well, I have a list on my Webull, right? It's like my strike list, I call it. What that does is it has all the options that I picked that I'm watching for whatever stock I'm watching. What this allows me to do is all I have to do is click and buy and sell. I don't have to look through the options chain to find it. I would recommend if you guys are day trading to do something similar because it saves you time and it saves you money when you get in or when you're trying to get out. So yeah, that's about it. But strikes, the way I'm picking them, resistance plays, support plays. If I know support's at a certain level, as long as that contract isn't mega expensive, that's gonna be my puts, right, for support. And if I'm looking at a resistance level, I'm usually gonna pick that strike as long as it's not too pricey. So today's levels were the 380 puts was what I was watching for my puts below. And then my calls above was 382. I was looking at the 385 call, which we played at the open. It's pretty good.
Yeah, one thing that you guys can do as well, since if like, I have these on the 4 hour charts, You can always go pre-market on the 15 or even the 30-minute and kind of just simplify that just a little bit. So let's say here, even though today it's kind of FOMC minutes, so I wouldn't really play it honestly because it's a lot of chop. But yeah, let's say like pre-market levels, you can use pre-market high or pre-market low to kind of do your puts below and calls above in a little tighter range if you wanted. But yeah, like on days like today when it's choppy, you kind of just want to use your better judgment. But on normal days, let's just say let's say this one over here, 8 a.m. I usually use 7:30 to the 8 a.m. because at 8 a.m. you get like a lot of I think it's dark pool prints, so you'll get these crazy wicks up or down. So I wouldn't really use those personally. Because like, this range is crazy. This is the what, $6-7 range.
That's the scout, man. No disrespect.
So in this case, it puts below, calls above. And as you can see, let's do the 15-minute actually. If it's getting a little too messy, let me know. So here, even at open, there wouldn't really be much of a trade because they kind of just flushed it immediately. Technically, you could have chased it, but I never kind of chase things at open. I usually just wait. Actually, this would be a good trade right here. But yeah, you could just narrow it down watch list wise and kind of just narrow your zones out. If this is making sense, let me get a yes in that chat. Let's see anything else. Sweet, thank you. And if you guys want us to like put like a little like screen recording on how to favorite strikes on Webull, let us know and we'll probably just do that and add it to the Discord later on for those that use Webull. Perfect. All right, cool. Yeah, Nightwolf, we'll get to that after we're done with this. But yeah, that's essentially the presentation. Hope you guys enjoyed it and learned a little more. And for those who don't know about it, hope you kind of just little intro to the strat that we use. We'll try to have more of these because it can get confusing at first, but like once it clicks, it'll just like click. Like at first I was like, what are these numbers? What does this mean? And now it's just like super easy for me to just find the trade and just take it right away without hesitation. Before we get into the Q&A, Pablo and I would like to just quickly share how to work with us if you do want like more of a one-on-one type of session. So if that's okay with you guys, just let us get a yes in the chat, and then we'll tell you really quickly how to work with us, and then we'll go into the Q&A. Perfect, thank you. All right, so really quickly, like I mentioned, Pablo and I offer one-on-one coaching sessions. For me specifically, it can be pretty much anything, whether it be technical analysis, fundamental, kind of helping you out if you're having any issues or if you're struggling with your trading. I mainly focus on the mental aspect of trading. So like if you're having a lot of trouble either staying in trades or like you've been fearful, you're having trouble staying in trades longer or getting out too quickly, things like that, I mainly focus on teaching others about. but I also help in technical analysis. Pretty much whatever you need help with in your trading, just let me know, and I can definitely help you out with that. I'm gonna post my link out I'm gonna post my link in the chat. And for those watching on YouTube, I will post that in the description. For Calendly, you can book me through there. It'll like give us a Zoom link that'll send you to your email for whatever time you set. And yeah, we'll go from there. I'll give it over to you, Pablo.
My bad, I had to mute. Yeah, so I'll post my Calendly too. Like I told the mentees, you guys. Oh man, look, mine looks all unprofessional. Like I told you guys already have me for the mentorship. So I offer obviously one-on-ones. I also offer a mentorship, so it teaches you my strategy. In this case, I'm gonna have to update it because I got two of them now. But if you do a mentorship with me, basically you know my strategy, and I'll teach you everything I know when it comes to options. So the Greeks, I'll teach you how I get into trades, how I get out. I'll teach you a little bit of psychology stuff. I'll teach you how to read flow, right, and how to use big money kind of to how to use big money to kind of guide your trades as well. So I offer that, and then one-on-one coachings as well. If you guys just if you guys already have the experience and you want to go over a few things, I'm open to that as well. I will post my calendar here professionally, and yeah, that's about it.
Perfect. Thank you guys again for allowing us to share that. So the next step will essentially just be a little 15-20 minute Q&A. So any questions you guys have, if you want us to kind of expand more on what we talked about today, or any questions kind of in general, will just let us know and we'll do our best to answer. And you can type the questions in the chat and then we'll read it from there. Let's give it a minute or two. Maybe somebody's typing out. Well, I guess that means we explained everything properly and clear. Yes. So literally what I've noticed, let me share my screen again, actually. Let me bring up the SPY. So yeah, Nightwolf, literally what I've noticed is that this kind of works with everything. Of course, we kind of use it for like for like indices to get the biggest moves. But let's say I myself don't really try to use it for pennies, but let's check something out. Actually, I haven't really played pennies in a long time. If there's a specific ticker that you want me to check out, let me know. Oh, Zeta, perfect. All right, let's go here. Let's check this one out. Now I'm gonna, ooh, all right. So looks like they got some volume recently. So little quick analysis on this. Right now we have full time frame continuity. We have pretty nice volume here. Although it is printing an actionable signal to the downside, we're still good. Everything is still, so the 4 hour, it looks like He is printing a shooter or a, sounds good, Pablo. Thank you for helping out. So on the 4 hour for X Air, I would be looking to short this depending how tomorrow looks. Let me check the daily. Yeah, the daily still looks strong. That's why I usually say like to look at the higher time frames. So weekly looks really strong still. Daily still looks really strong. It's only the 4 hour that's kind of printing a reversal. So everything's kind of still strong on it. So if, let's say if you did want to short it, I would kind of, I guess we got to see how the next candle plays out. But if it does something like this, you can probably play it like this. So 45 cents against you, 104 for you. And then if it does continue dropping, you can kind of just take the bottoms of all these previous candles as your targets. I would say maybe like something down here will be your max target. But again, you know, based on what I'm seeing here, everything's super bullish. We did, let me see, what we rejected off the weekly. Yeah, the weekly kind of rejected off this high right here. So if we don't kind of clear this right here and go higher to this next level, we might get some corrective activity back to around maybe $9 to 866, which will kind of be in line with the way the 4 hour is printing out for this right here. But again, this definitely works with anything. I've been using it on crypto. Let me see what else. Maybe what's a, I guess if you know of any penny stocks under like 3 or 4 that have ran recently, I can check those out as well. I think Box D might have been one. Let me see. Yeah, even Box D. So let's check the daily out. So we get some choppy action here. We get this first day with a lot of volume. I wouldn't take any of these trades here because like the candle pattern and formation is not really what I personally like playing. Maybe intraday, I would have went on the smaller time frames to look for any specific patterns that look good for me. Yeah, for this one, I will probably do, reset this. Yeah, for this one, I will more than likely play the 4 hour. So right here, I would have probably taken this trade, even though it's like a lot of gaps and stuff. So on the break of this candle, on this 2 doji, I would have entered on the break and just had all these bottom candles as my targets. So that would have been, it's not bad actually. That would have been a 20, 25, 30% move on the short. Hit the bottom of this. It looks like it wants to head here. And based on the daily's not looking good. All the time frames are bearish. So there's nothing looking bullish to me about this. And let me check Zero one more time, actually. Yeah, so XAir, like I said, daily wise, we're still looking strong. We got some big candles heading into resistance area. We might get some consolidation and then we might print a 1 tomorrow. I guess we'll have to see. And we'll see what happens after that. Still looking strong. We got good volume today. All time frames are bullish. Still looking like a long. Just the 4 hour might be printing a short. But like I said, higher time frames overtake the smaller ones. Let me see. Any other ticker you want me to look at? I can definitely look at that for you. let's see what else. Oh, so yeah, for crypto, let me see if I could find this real quick. XNX USDT. So this one I played for 150% on a short. I used the leverage to be fair, but let me see, when was it? So for crypto, I kind of have my charts different. I use like the 2-day chart because crypto moves kind of slow. So on the 2-day, I entered on the break of this candle. Hold on, let me kind of clear this up. Yeah, I guess I'll just leave it here. So on the 2-day, I entered on the break of this. And then on the smaller time frames, I kind of like map these areas out for take profits. But my maximum was the previous candle right here, which it missed it by 3 cents, but still gave me it still gave me my 150%. Now, based on the 2-day, this wick out right here might have scared you, but like I said, your stop would be above it, which the next candles never hit. So you could literally just stay in the whole time until it hit your max target, as you can see that it did here. So yeah, like this literally works with everything. It could be stocks, crypto, forex, futures, small caps, penny runners, literally everything. Although for penny runners, I would use the smaller time frames because I'm trading the momentum since there's a lot of volume and volatility. Yeah, other than that, like I said, this works with everything. For, I guess, just like a tip of, like I just said, for small caps, stick to I will stick to like 15-minute, maybe 30-minute time frames, just to kind of get clear cut signals, and even the higher ones if you want to. But if it's like a really explosive stock with a lot of volume and a lot of volatility, I would probably check out the 15 and 30 minutes, maybe the 5-minute, depending how I'm feeling. But yeah, hopefully that answered your question. Anything else that you would want me to check out, let me know. Also, a quick tip. I'm assuming you guys can see my watch list on the right side. I would definitely recommend, if this system works for you, I keep all the sectors up. So I usually just trade SPY all day, honestly, and maybe like Amazon or like maybe one other ticker. But I usually keep all the sectors up in this section for the watch list on TradingView. That way I can kind of see where money's flowing into. So as you can see, like energy, financials, and oil, money's coming out of it today and going elsewhere. And then I have like all the indices here and futures as well. Just so I'm not like spending too much time going to a bunch of other lists. No problem, Nightwolf. You're very welcome. Um, yeah, if there's nothing else, that'll pretty much just conclude the session. I'll give you guys another 2-3 minutes for any other questions. If not, then I'll just end it here. I'm gonna check out some other stock that I'm gonna look for tomorrow while I'll wait for anybody to ask a question. Amazon, I like to go higher. Filled this gap right here. Check the daily. Yeah, if this momentum continues, we got these really, really strong candles. We might revisit 118 again. Well, no more questions from what I see. I appreciate you guys again for coming out. I will upload this and post it in the next hour or two. Yeah, I will definitely see you guys in the next session. I'll give you guys a week heads up as well. And yeah, I really appreciate you guys coming out. Thanks for listening. Again, any questions, just let us know in the Discord. We're always here to help and do the best that we can, trying to make everybody make money. It's definitely a good skill to have, even if you don't want to trade full time like Pablo and I. It definitely helps us to bring some extra income and stuff. But yeah, again, thanks again, guys, for coming out. I will see you guys on the Discord. Have a good night.